Have you ever lent someone a large sum believing you were helping them out of an emergency only to find out they used it to indulge in a lavish lifestyle? I thought I was helping my sister chase her dream. I believed she was serious that the $10,000 I lent her would be used to start a business and change her life. But 2 weeks later, I realized I had been deceived when I saw a photo of Lily standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, holding a designer bag and a glass of wine. And I wouldn't let her get away with it so quickly this time. Stay tuned until the end to discover how I taught my sister a lesson she'd never forget. Hello everyone, I'm Jake 30, who owns a small cafe in New York. My cafe isn't big or fancy, with an elaborate menu and expensive decor. But it's enough for me to make a living and be proud of building it from nothing with my own hands. My family wasn't wealthy. My parents were hardworking people who spent their entire lives making ends meet to support my sister and me. But there was always a clear difference between me and Lily, my younger sister. From a young age, I learned to be independent, working part-time jobs in high school to buy the things I wanted. Meanwhile, Lily grew up believing someone else would provide it for her if she wanted something. My parents loved Lily in a way I never experienced. They spoiled her, shielding her from every hardship. When I had to save every penny to buy a new pair of shoes, Lily had to whine a little, and she'd get the most expensive pair. While I worked part-time jobs to spend money, she had a credit card for my parents. I saw it all, but I wasn't jealous. I just thought she was my little sister. Let mom and dad take care of her. But that kind of pampering turned Lily into someone who never understood the value of money. She spent recklessly, living like a princess, even though our family wasn't well off. Whenever she ran into financial trouble, my parents would bail her out. Again and again, like a never-mind ascending cycle. I knew this. I thought it was her life if she didn't involve me. But I was wrong. Lily didn't just want my parents to support her. She tried to turn me into her bank. And the worst part, she had no problem lying to me to get what she wanted, taking advantage of my trust without a second thought. And when I finally discovered the truth, I knew it was time to teach my sister a lesson she would never forget. I've never been the type to lend money huge sums easily. But 6 months ago, when my sister Lily called me with a voice full of urgency, I couldn't say no. Jake, I need $10,000. This is a huge opportunity for me. If I don't take it, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I was taken aback. $10,000 wasn't a tiny amount, and Lily had never been good at managing money. What do you need the money for? I asked, trying to stay calm. I want to open a handmade shop. I've done my research and I know it will succeed. But I need the initial investment. I promise I'll work hard, take it seriously, and pay you back as soon as I make a profit. Her voice was desperate, almost pleading. I leaned back in my chair, deep in thought. I knew Lily had been spoiled since childhood, never really having to work for what she wanted. But still, she was my sister. And I had always believed that everyone deserves a chance to change, to grow. You sure about this? I asked one more time. Absolutely. I need a little help to get started, Jake. I swear. I sighed. Part of me felt uneasy, but I nodded anyway. A few days later, I transferred the money. Lily texted me immediately and called me in tears to thank me, saying I had just brought her one step closer to her dream. But 2 weeks later, I discovered a truth that stunned me completely. I remember it clearly. It was a Saturday morning. The crisp New York air seeped through the windows as I sat down with a fresh cup of coffee, savoring a rare moment of peace before my cafe opened. My phone buzzed. A message from Mark, a longtime friend. Jake, have you seen this? Attached is a screenshot. I opened it, and my heart nearly dropped. Lily was checking in from Paris. She stood in front of the Eiffel Tower, dressed in a designer dress, holding a Louis Vuitton bag, her face beaming. The caption underneath made me want to hurl my phone across the room. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Paris dream luxury life. I stared at the screen, my pulse pounding. This couldn't be Lily, the identical sister who had cried to me just 2 weeks ago, begging for money to start her business. Where was the shop? Where was the hard work? I immediately pulled up Lily's Instagram page. But there was no sign of Paris. No trace of this extravagant vacation. She had blocked me from seeing her stories. I clenched my phone, rage and betrayal surging through me. She knew what she was doing was wrong. She knew I'd be furious if I found out, and she thought she could hide it from me. I narrowed my eyes, thinking fast. If Lily was being careful, I needed it to be more innovative. I opened my laptop, created a new Instagram account with a different email, grabbed a random profile picture from Google, and set up a fake name. Then I hit follow. And just like that, the truth unfolded before my eyes. Lily wasn't just in Paris. She was posting nonstop, dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant, trying on Gucci heels, and indulging in a 5-star hotel spa. Every photo radiated luxury that no struggling entrepreneur could afford. A fire ignited in my chest. She had lied to me. My $10,000 hadn't gone toward a handmade shop. It had paid for Lily's lavish vacation. And this time, I wouldn't let her get away with it. My grip tightened around my phone, my heart pounding with rage. I couldn't believe my sister dared to do this. I immediately dialed Lily. One ring, no answer. I called again. And again, by the fifth call, my hand slammed against the table in frustration. Lily had never ignored my calls this long, which only confirmed one thing: she was avoiding me. I texted her straight to the point, "Lily, where are you?" It took nearly 10 minutes before she responded. When her message finally came through, the casual tone made me scream. "I'm sourcing inventory for my store. Super busy right now. I'll call you later." I stared at the screen, feeling like I had just been slapped. Sourcing inventory in Paris with a Louis Vuitton bag in her hand, with luxurious dinners and high-end spa visits? There was no more doubt in my mind. I typed, my fingers trembling with anger. Then, "Why did you block me from seeing your story?" The typing bubble appeared. She was reading my message. I knew she saw it, but she didn't reply. 1 minute, 2 minutes. I clenched my jaw, picturing Lily holding her phone, scrambling for an excuse. Finally, her message popped. "You're always so uptight. Don't worry, I will pay you back." I read it repeatedly, feeling my fury rise to a boiling point. No apology, no guilt. There is no reasonable explanation. It was just a dismissive response, as if I was the unreasonable one for being upset. Right then, I knew. Lily didn't feel bad about what she had done. She didn't think she had done anything wrong at all. And if I didn't do something, she would keep living like this, without consequences, without accountability. After handing things to my staff, I headed straight to my car. I had only one thought: I needed to talk to my parents, not because I expected them to take my side. I already knew how they would react, but I couldn't keep this anger bottled up any longer. Lily had gone too far, and this time I wouldn't let her get away with it. When I entered the house, my parents watched TV on the couch. They looked up, surprised to see me show up unannounced. "Jake, what are you doing here at this hour?" my mom asked, setting the remote down. I didn't beat around the bush. I sat down, crossed my arms, and looked straight at them. "Do you know what Lily has done?" My dad frowned. "What do you mean? Did you two have another fight?" I scoffed, shaking my head. "No, this time it's different. 2 weeks ago, she called me saying she needed money to open a handmade shop. She said it was a huge opportunity, and if she didn't take it, she'd regret it for the rest of her life." My mom leaned forward. "Lily wanted to open a shop. Why didn't she ever mention this to me?" I shrugged, "Because she never intended to open one in the first place." Silence filled the room. My dad tapped his fingers against the armrest, waiting for me to continue. I took a deep breath and then said, with a sharp edge in my voice, "Can you guess where Lily is right now?" "What do you mean?" I pulled out my phone, opened Lily's Instagram using the fake account I had just created, and held the screen up to them. There she was, Lily, standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, wearing a designer dress, holding a Louis Vuitton bag, and smiling like she had no care in the world. Below the photo, the caption read proudly, "Life is meant to be enjoyed. #Paris Dream, #luxury life." My mom's mouth fell open. My dad looked at me, then back at the phone, his expression darkening. "She's in Paris," my mom stammered. "That's right," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "And she got there with my $10,000. My dad blinked, as if trying to process what I had just said. "Wait, you gave her $10,000? I let out a bitter laugh. "No, I didn't. Give it to her. I loaned it to her. She begged me for help and told me it was her big opportunity. And the moment she got the money, she packed her bags and went on a luxury vacation." My mom kept shaking her head, still in disbelief. "No, there has to be some misunderstanding. Maybe she's looking into business opportunities." I tapped the screen and swiped through her stories. Lily was dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant where she had a glass of red wine and an expensive steak in front of her. Lily is showing off a brand new pair of Gucci heels. Lily, soaking in a bathtub filled with flower petals at a 5-star hotel. I turned back to my mom. "Is this what you mean by looking into business?" My dad heaved a sigh, leaning back in his chair and rubbing his temples. My mom opened her mouth as if to say something but then fell silent. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on my knees, my tone dropping lower. This isn't the first time she's taken advantage of people's kindness. She always assumes that someone will bail her out no matter her mistakes. Why? Because she's never had to face any real consequences. My mom gave me a hesitant look. Jake, you're her big brother. Don't be so harsh. Everyone makes mistakes. She's still young and needs time to learn and grow. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. This time it was laced with bitterness. Time? Do you honestly think she's gonna pay me back willingly? If I don't hold her accountable, she'll keep living like this, thinking she can do whatever she wants without ever facing the consequences. The room grew tense. Finally, I said, my voice firm and unwavering, she has 2 weeks to pay me back. If she doesn't, I'll make sure she does. My parents exchanged glances, then looked at me. I knew they were wondering what I planned to do. My death side, Jake. Don't do anything extreme. I stood up, grabbed my coat, and headed for the door. Before I left, I looked at them one last time. You know, I said quietly, part of the reason Lily turned out this way is because you both spoiled her too much. No one said a word, but I knew they understood it too. After leaving my parents' house, I returned to my apartment. My head had cooled slightly, but the anger still simmered inside me. I didn't want to argue with Lily because I knew that no matter what I said, she would find a way to dodge responsibility. I needed a different approach to make her understand the consequences of her actions. I picked up my phone and typed a short, direct message. Lily, I'm genuinely disappointed in you. I trusted you. I believed you wanted to change, to do something meaningful. But you took advantage of my trust to serve your selfish desires. I don't care if you're in Paris or enjoying your soul mine. It's called luxury life. I need a clear answer. Will you pay me back in a week? I hit send. Less than 2 minutes later, she replied, you're blowing this out of proportion. I will pay you back. Don't worry. I stared at the screen. A half-hearted, dismissive response. No apology. No guilt. I decided not to reply. No scolding. No blaming. No arguing. Just silence. At first, Lily didn't think much of it. She assumed I was sulking and that my anger would pass. But as one day went by, then 2, then 3, and I still hadn't called or texted, I knew she was starting to feel uneasy. The messages started coming in one after another. Jake, why aren't you answering me? Are you mad? It was just a trip. It's not that big of a deal. Jake, please don't do this to me. When I continued to ignore her, the texts turned into calls. At first, just 1 or 2 a day. But after a week, the number started climbing. 10 calls, 20 calls. By the 8th day, Lily had called me over 30 times in the morning. I stared at my phone buzzing relentlessly on the table and smirked. She was panicking, and I liked that. 2 weeks passed quickly. And just as I had predicted, Lily didn't pay back a single cent. She kept sending half-hearted messages, still playing the same game. Stalling, hoping that if she dragged it out long enough, I'd let it go. I had given her a chance. I had been patient. But this was the end of the line. Lily thought she could forget about the debt and that I would let it fade into the past like our parents always did. But this time, I wasn't letting her off so quickly. I picked up my phone and logged into the fake Instagram account I had created earlier. I opened Instagram and typed out a short but pointed post. Some people ask for money to start a business, but use it for luxury vacations and shopping sprees. They take kindness for granted. But the truth always finds its way out. No need to be subtle. I tagged Lily directly. Then I attached a few of her public photos, the ones she had been so eager to show off. In front of the Eiffel Tower, Lily clutched a Louis Vuitton bag. Lily indulging in a lavish Michelin-star dinner. Lily proudly showed off her brand new Gucci heels. I read over the post one last time. And then I hit post. I set my phone down and crossed my arms. Now I waited. 30 minutes later, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Lily. Nearly 30 missed calls in 20 minutes. She must have been furious. Finally, I picked up the moment I answered. Her voice exploded through the speaker. Are you insane? You're ruining my reputation? I leaned back in my chair, keeping my tone calm. What reputation? You already ruined it yourself. Who do you think you are? Do you know how many people are messaging me, asking what's going on? I'm being humiliated. I let out a dry chuckle. Humiliated? No, Lily. I'm just showing people the truth. What truth? You're making me look like a joke. Delete that post right now. I leaned back further, shaking my head even though she couldn't see me. No, Lily. I gave you 2 weeks to handle this quietly. You ignored me. Now you deal with the consequences. She was breathing heavily through the phone, panic creeping into her voice. I'll pay you back. Just delete the post. I raised an eyebrow. Really? Then where's the money? Silence. I smirked. That's what I thought. You don't have a single cent. Lily stammered, scrambling for an excuse. I need a little more time. I cut her off. You're out of time, Lily. She screamed in frustration, but her voice lacked the usual arrogance this time. You're ruining my life. I let out a cold laugh. No, Lily. I'm teaching you a lesson you should have learned long ago. And then I gave her one final chance. You have 1 more week to pay me back, Lily. On the other end, Lily snapped. Are you serious? That's $10,000, not 100? You think I can pull that out of thin air in a week? I smirked. You lied to me first. Silence. A few seconds passed like she was trying to swallow her rage. Then she hung up. I wasn't surprised. I knew she had no intention of paying me back. And I also knew this wasn't over yet. But what I didn't expect was that just 2 days later, Lily was the one calling me. I had just finished closing my cafe after a long day when my phone buzzed. Lily. I hesitated for a moment before answering. The moment I put the phone to my ear, her voice came through. No arrogance, no anger. Just panic. And desperation. Jake, I need your help. I raised an eyebrow. Help? Again. I wanted to see what story she would spin this time. Lily took a shaky breath before continuing. I'm in big trouble. My boyfriend broke up with me. Everyone has turned their backs on me. I don't have enough money to pay off my credit card debt. I crossed my arms and leaned back in my chair, completely unsurprised. And how exactly do you want me to help? I could practically hear her biting her lip, trying to phrase things in a way that would soften me up. Finally, she spoke, her voice quieter, almost pleading. Could you maybe lend me a little more? I promise I'll pay you back this time. At that moment, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Lily, did you just say that to me? Jake, please. Her voice trembled, but I felt nothing. No sympathy. No pity. You just burned $10,000 of my money on luxury nonsense. And now you think I'd be stupid enough to pull out my wallet again. Silence. No, Lily. This time, you figured out yourself. And then I hung up. I knew she would call again. She tried to cry, beg, maybe even make up some sob story about being sick or in danger to guilt mine strip me. But this time, I was done. Lily would have to face the consequences. A week passed quickly, and my $10,000 was still nowhere to be seen. No messages. No apology. Not even the slightest sign that Lily intended to pay me back. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly. None of this surprised me. I knew my sister well. She never took responsibility for her mistakes. If I stayed silent, that money would be as good as it is gone. Or maybe she'd pay me back someday when she had no other choice, when she was backed into a corner. Despite my anger, a part of me felt exhausted. Lily was still my sister, after all. At one point, I had even planned to gift her $20,000 when she got married. Money to help her start a new life with her future husband. I wasn't stingy. If Lily had genuinely needed help, I would have gladly given her more than just $10,000. But this wasn't about money. This was about betrayal. Lily hadn't just borrowed from me. She had lied to me. She had looked me in the eyes, spun an entirely fake story, and exploited my trust without guilt. And the worst part? She still didn't think she had done anything wrong. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. No more hesitation. If Lily thought she could walk away from this without consequences, she was dead wrong. I picked up my phone and logged into Facebook and tweeted. This time, I wasn't going to hold back. I crafted my post carefully, not with anger, but with a cold, undeniable truth. Asterisk, some people borrow money under noble pretenses, promising it's a once minus and minus lifetime opportunity. But once they have the money, they do nothing except use it to fund their lavish lifestyle. And when they're exposed, they don't apologize. They don't feel guilty. They just run from responsibility. Should the family continue to tolerate this, or is it time they finally learn a lesson? Asterisk, without hesitation, I tagged Lily directly. But I didn't stop there. I messaged every relative. The ones who always thought Lily was a sweet, innocent girl. Hey everyone. I just wanted to share something about Lily. If she's ever borrowed money from you or taken advantage of your kindness, it may be time to reconsider how you deal with her. I attached screenshots of Lily's Instagram posts. Her in Paris, her shopping spree, her extravagant meals. Then, I set my phone down and waited. Just 5 minutes later, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Lily was calling. I didn't answer. Call 2, call 3. By the 10th call, I still let it ring. Then, the flood of texts came in. Are you crazy? Delete that post right now. Are you trying to ruin my life? Jake, please, I'm begging you. Don't do this. I stared at the screen, my expression cold and moved. Less than an hour later, my mom called. I answered, and the moment I did, her voice cracked with distress. Jake, what have you done? I exhaled slowly. Mom, I only told the truth. But did you have to go this far? She pleaded, her voice trembling. Do you know how many people are criticizing Lily right now? She's panicking. She's been calling me crying nonstop. I closed my eyes and leaned back in my chair. I felt nothing. No regret. No guilt. Mom, I gave her a chance. She had 2 weeks to make this right, and she did nothing. She thought she could run away from it forever. If this hadn't happened, she would keep deceiving people without a second thought. My mom choked back a sob. But she's still your sister. I opened my eyes, my voice dropping lower. And what am I, Mom? Am I not your son, too? Am I not family? Then why did no one stand up for me when I was betrayed? Silence. She had no answer. I continued, my voice steady. I'm not cruel. But this time, Lily needs to learn her lesson. And then I hung up. For months past, I didn't contact Lily partly because I was still angry, partly because I wanted her to realize. But that didn't mean I ignored her completely. Now and then, I check in on her through my mom. I never asked outright, but during our conversations, I always tried to gauge how Lily was doing. Whether she had changed or was still the same selfish person I once knew. Mom told me Lily had become much quieter. She no longer flaunted her lifestyle online and no longer partied with friends like before. She also avoided mentioning me whenever she talked to the family. I was wondering if that was a sign of change or just shame. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. In my mind, this chapter was closed. Or at least that's what I thought. Until yesterday. I was sitting in my cafe reviewing the books when my phone buzzed. A bank notification. Account balance update. Plus $200. I frowned. Who just sent me money? A few seconds later, a text came in. Jake, I don't deserve it, but I still want to apologize. I was wrong, so wrong. I disappointed you. I took advantage of your trust. Thank you for making me realize things I had never thought about before. I don't have much, but here's the first $2,000. I'll do my best to pay you the rest soon. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. But I hope that one day you can trust me again. I stared at the screen, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something unexpected, not satisfaction, not relief, but regret. I didn't regret asking Lily to pay me back. I regretted how I had chosen to punish her. Maybe I had been too harsh. Maybe I could have handled it differently, instead of humiliating her in front of friends, family, and even strangers online. But if I hadn't done it, would she have ever realized her mistake? Would Lily have ever changed if I had stayed silent, swallowed my anger, and let it go? I don't know. And maybe I never will. But now I want to ask you, the ones listening to the story, was I too cruel? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to follow the channel. Your support means the world to us.